Hello, everyone. This is Ryan and Chelsea Harkins. We are not present today. We wanted to be there. We hope you guys are having a really good marriage enrichment retreat. We're on vacation, so we're not able to make it. But just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we started. We started a marriage ministry called 3 to Thrive, and we want to invite all you guys to come to it. Primarily, there's 3 reasons why we started it. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, so the first one, when we were just newly dating, we did a mission trip to Fiji. It was wild. But when we were there, we learned that the bishop mandates that every married couple comes back to the diocese for a post-Cana retreat 5 years after they're married. And Fiji is like 2 hours, driving diameter, and so it's really small, and the bishop can totally mandate that, I guess. But in America you can't really do that. But it just gave us a great idea to have some kind of post-Cana continuing ed / enrichment. So
Yeah, so there's that, and then also what happened with your school.
Oh yeah, so I also, I'm a physical therapist, and when we were starting this ministry, I was finishing up school, and we had one lecture on all the things you have to do to maintain your license now for the rest of your life. And it was pretty intense, just the money and the time that you have to spend in order to maintain a standard of care. And I just had this reflection of, wow, this is kind of a lot for a profession that's like, 35 to 40 years maybe? But what is there for my marriage that is my entire life? And so we just had this idea of, it's so common to spend time and money getting trained to maintain a standard of care because the world is constantly changing, science is constantly changing. But what about marriage, where your life circumstances are always changing as your family grows and as life storms hit and all of these things? It's so important to kind of maintain that standard of care in your marriage. So
Yeah, and I think the church does like a really amazing job preparing married couples to get married, but then kind of leaves them at the altar. There's not a lot going on afterwards, and that's when the rubber hits the road. It's really hard. Is like the first 5 years, you're building a foundation, and you want to continue the formation and continue growing in your love for each other. So that's kind of why we started 3 to Thrive. Another final reason was, right before we got married, we were engaged, and I was reading a book, and in the book it talked about a vision that St. Catherine of Siena had, and she's just a mystical saint of the church. And so in the vision, the Lord presents her with all these different kinds of crosses, and some are big and some are small. And then Jesus tells her, pick one. And so out of love for the Lord, she picks like the busiest or the biggest, the heaviest cross, and she gives it to the Lord, and Jesus basically stops her and says, no, you're religious. This one is reserved for the married couples. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And just kind of a real thought of like, wow, this is something tough. This is not for the weak of heart. And, it's not like we're getting married just like our neighbor gets married, just like all these tons of people get married, but are we getting married truly knowing what it's about, truly wanting it, choosing it every single day through the thick and thin and all the storms that it presents. So come to 3 to Thrive. The idea is to enrich your marriage. The way it works is that we cover kind of the practical and spiritual realities of marriage each month. So right now it's the second Thursday of every month. We've been doing them the whole year. We have about 3 or 4 more. We're not going to do one in December, but we have September, October, November left for this year. And we invite you to all come out. The next one is at St. Rita's, September 12th. And the topic is the emojis of marriage, kind of like a funny way of saying the emotional life. So the emotions of marriage, how to tap into your emotions, how to understand your wife's emotions, your husband's emotions, and then kind of go from there. And that's the key to marital longevity. So the speaker is Liz Higgins, and she's from Millennial Life Counseling. Awesome lady, really cool, really well versed in this area. Has counseled hundreds of married couples. So I think she has a lot of good pieces of wisdom to offer us.
Yeah, I mean, we realize that there's no manual to marriage and none of us have it figured out or know exactly what we're doing. And so that's why 3 to Thrive is here. It's to fill that gap and to give you a monthly opportunity to recommit yourself to your marriage. Each of our nights stand alone, so you don't have to commit to coming to a certain amount of times or anything like that. Just come when it works with your schedule, and we hope to see you at our next one, September 12th, St. Rita.
All right, thanks guys. Praying for you. Have a good one.